not stripping.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it'd be cool if you could take a helicopter to like each strip club to get a strip helicopter tour.
That'd be iconic.
That would be pretty cool. But I feel like if you're going that far, you also need to have a stripper on the helicopter. But I feel like helicopters are pretty small, so
They should have a harness and a pole in the middle of the helicopter.
that would be cool.
And they spin around that bitch as it spins.
Wow, she would just be like flipping it up. That would be intense. I feel like they're gonna have to like start amping up the Vegas experience though, because I keep hearing from people that like everything is kind of like dead in Vegas as far as like people like going to shows and doing stuff. So I think they're gonna have to like go above and beyond.
Probably,
so
yeah.
That could be what saves Vegas is the stripper poles and the helicopter.
Helicopter stripper pole. Let's go.
I get paid to take my clothes off, but here I bear it all for free. Welcome to the Totally Wholesome, Not Dirty podcast, where sex work meets self-work, and we laugh through the chaos one inappropriate joke at a time. I talk safe sex, mental health, industry secrets, and all the stories that made my therapist cry.
Welcome back to the Totally Wholesome, Not Dirty podcast. I'm your host, Molly Stewart, and joining me today is my guest, Lorelai. Would you like to tell everybody a little bit about yourself?
Hi, I'm Lorelai Leigh. I'm from South Louisiana.
I love it.
Here I am.
Here I am. How long have you been doing content?
I've been in the industry, I want to say, over a year and a half. I think I'll make 2 years in February.
Ooh, that's awesome. How do you like it so far?
I like it. I love it.
What's
I
been
want some more of it.
That's exactly what I was thinking when you started saying that. I love it. Okay, so how did you get into the industry, if you don't mind? Because that's like really, really recent. I don't usually talk to people who are that fresh into the industry, so tell me stuff.
Yeah, so I got into the industry. I actually spoke to Ivan. I got in touch with Ivan through, I don't even want to call him an agent, because it really wasn't.
Just kind of like a person.
Just kind of like a dude.
Like,
that,
I got this guy.
Like, it was like a dude that, like, tried to have an agency. But, and then he has some girls working for him. But he wasn't, like, taking anything from, any bookings that we had.
Oh.
He was paying for half my test and then paying for half my flight.
But he wasn't making any money.
Off us, yeah.
Oh.
And then, like...
Just out of the kindness of his heart.
Well, supposedly, but supposedly not, because then, I don't know, it's just a weird situation because he was like, okay, yeah, we're going to have the names of the talent you're going to be working with, the companies, the address, the contact. Got nothing. I got an address from the one of the companies.
Just like an address, like, go here.
Like, I got it from somebody from the company I was going to shoot with. And in a random text, I was like, okay, I guess this is the dude.
I guess this is the person?
Yeah, so I once I got in touch with Ivan, I dropped that like a fly after like my second or third trip because I was like, there's no point. I could just be doing this myself.
You're like, if you don't know where I'm going and you're not making any money off of this, why are you here?
Yeah, why are you, like, if I can't get it, because I couldn't get in contact with him.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, why are you here? Like, I don't know what the point. So
that's such a weird
it was a very, and I didn't, it was one of those things where it was like, I was so new, so I thought that was like how that gets done, because I didn't know until Ivan was like, what the f***? And I was like, oh, okay.
That's so funny. It's like, I'm an agent, but I'm not an agent. And you're like, yeah, I guess. I mean, it's the porn industry, so it shouldn't make sense, right? This shouldn't be like, people are actually, I think, like surprised when they do find out like how much goes into like, well, people who are doing their job well, like Ivan, for instance, like actually being very, very professional. Like, what has been your favorite experience so far with the industry? Like,
I would honestly say I haven't had a bad experience yet, and I don't know if I'm lucky or if I'm just doing it the right way or going about it the right way. I feel like my favorite experience would kind of building my brand and going with filming things that I like that I've never got to like experience actually. I feel like that's like been like super, super cool.
That's cool. Like,
fun.
and then to be able to do it in like a safe environment is pretty awesome too.
Yeah.
Like, what's something that you got to experience that you were like, oh, I don't know if I could have done this outside of the industry.
Eiffel Tower.
Ooh.
Eiffel Tower.
You built it from the ground up.
Yeah.
Do you love the pod? Of course you do. Do you love ads? Not so much. Do you want to prove how much you love the pod? Then join us ad-free on patreon.com/TWND podcast. Every tier of support gets you day early releases and ad-free enjoyment. The Totally Wholesome Not Dirty podcast is made possible by listeners like you. If you want the full VIP experience, join any of our dirtbag tiers, which also gives you access to skits, photo sets, bonus episodes, and monthly Zoom chats where we sit down, reflect, share, and more. You'll also have access to Thought Takes, a mini show where I strip down and go in hard with rant-episodes. What are you waiting for? Join us and be a dirtbag at patreon.com/TWND podcast. For the support being between.
Yeah, no, literally, that was my first one too. It was through the industry, and I thought that was cool as. And then
was like an actual high five
yeah,
situation?
well, they might have I told them, I was like, y'all got a high five.
That's awesome.
Y'all have to high five. So I'm pretty sure they high fived. I was so into it that I was just kind of like, I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, you're like, I'm just happy to be involved. You guys high five or don't. Yes, I don't care.
Yeah, for
that's
sure.
Cool. Wow, that's fun. Do you do like solo stuff as well? Because I know like working with Ivan, so you have worked with alt erotica then.
Yeah.
Is it alt erotic or alt erotica?
Alt erotic.
Okay, that's what I thought.
I've been working primarily with them for my whole career, yeah.
It's cool that they give you like the rights to the content as well, because so many big companies don't give you any sort of rights. I've talked to so many girls from alt erotic, and it's like the only company that I've ever heard of that's like that, which I think is really cool, because like owning my content has always been super duper important to me. And I think like a lot of people realized how valuable it was when like OnlyFans got big and COVID started and people could like make their own content, but they like didn't realize how much they kind of just got like pushed over by the studios to do whatever. But it's like the studios need you, because the studios aren't going to be the brace in an Eiffel Tower. They just have the concept. They need you to do it. So if you have these ideas that you want to do, then why not take like full ownership of it and get like some creative freedom in there? Like,
and that's what I've been doing with alt erotic, like to a T. And so I'm super excited actually, because I'm going to be starting my own website, but like paid website, and I'm super excited because I do a lot. I read a lot. I like to stay in my house, and I like my books where my things are.
I love that.
And so like I read a lot, and so I actually go to like these little fantasy book balls where we all dress up.
Shut up. Shut up. Because I see those and I'm like, that's maybe the only ball that I would ever want to go to, because I love the reading, the fantasy. I'm writing a fantasy series right now myself, like reading books, all the things. That's cool. What is like your favorite series right now?
So, okay, I'm so glad you asked this. My favorite book series of all time is Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas. She wrote it over like 12 years. Yeah. And the character development, I mean, when I tell you this is my Roman Empire series, I think about it every single day. Yeah. And I finished it over 2 years, like 2 years ago. No, like a year ago, but still.
Yeah, Sarah J. Maas is great. I like all of her books. The Throne of Glass I liked like way more than the Court of
I agree. Me too.
But like they're all good in their own way. But definitely I did like the depth of Throne of Glass like way more. But it was actually like starting to read all of those fantasy books, like because when I was younger I read like a lot. It was like maybe same for you, but like the escape from because like reality is just so boring or terrible and like all these things that you like typically can't control just gets thrown at you all the time. But when you're between the pages of a book, it's like that is where you are.
Yeah, I mean, hell, that's how I actually started getting into books like that, because of like, I mean, I started reading when I was homeless with my kid. So like we were like living in hotels in my car for like 2 months. Oh wow. And so I like, that was my escape. That's when I started reading I started first with The Court of Thorns and Roses, and then I went to Throne of Glass and Crescent City, and then back to Throne of Glass, because reading it after Crescent City is like a whole new series. It's weird. Yeah. So like that was my escapism from everything. And actually, so 6 months after that is when I met Ivan. Okay. And so that's, you know, this career, I mean, I tell you what, this industry's given me a lot. Like where I was going with the whole book thing, I'm actually like the website I'm making is actually going to be inspired by like different scenes in dark romance and like whatnot from books like that.
That's awesome.
I got to deal with Cassandra MD. She's a new indie author. We're going to actually be turning her 7-book series into movies.
Oh, really?
It's smut. It's she's been #1 in erotic horror, like I want to say like 4 times now, and her book just came out a month ago.
That's cool.
And so we're actually going to be bringing that to life with Ivan for the website and whatnot. And so that's going to be like my first like Kickstart series. I'm actually filming the trailer while we're out here. And so, it's really, they're like 2 psychopaths that are like enemies to like friends to enemies to lovers type situation. It's I'm so excited.
I love it. That's so cool. Well, when I finish my series, I'll definitely have to give you a little read, because like it's so cool. But like having those kind of escapes, it's cool that you're bringing this also into like your content creation, because like sometimes I feel like, and this is not like no hate on anyone, it's just like different people do things differently, right? But I really think it's cool when people bring something to a scene that's more than just like, here's this basic like thing. And we all have that, like we all have just like filler content that like people want to see or whatever, but it's cool to have these passions outside of just like the job that make the job feel so much more rewarding and creative and like a fun venture instead of just like something that you're doing. So that's really cool that you're like bringing that in.
Super excited.
Yeah. That's so freaking cool. So is Ivan gonna help you like do the shooting for that and everything?
Yeah, awesome. I'm really, really excited. Fingers crossed. It should do super well because it's like such a crazy concept. Like, the actual plot of the book itself is insane. Like, the dude was like tortured by this leader of this coven, and then like to try to harness his magic or whatever, and then he ends up like explode. Like, it's not literally exploding, but kind of power wise. It's because his fantasy is like there's magic.
Yeah, no, of course. I'm writing.
As we do.
I'm writing right now. Yeah,
as we do.
You can just make anything up, and it's so much better than reality.
Literally, yeah. And so, his only friend, he, in the process of all this, he kills her mom. And so 200 years goes by, and she ends up taking his place, getting tortured and by the head of the coven, and she makes the girl, because at the time she's a little girl, get possessed by this like entity.
Oh.
Yeah. So this girl's got like this monster, essentially all powerful being, like dark being inside her at all times, that's like constantly whispering to her to like kill people and shit.
Oh wow.
Like the voices,
yeah.
but like a monster type. And so what ends up happening 200 years later, like she sat with that rage and that betrayal, because she saw him after like he escaped or whatever. For like 200 years.
Yeah.
So she's been sitting in that, murking in it.
Yeah,
you know,
just like simmering in the cauldron.
And so she's pissed. And so, but she gets picked by the head of the coven to go work with this human kingdom, and they see humans as like rats and vermin or whatever. And so she like goes to this kingdom, and she realizes the head of the team that she's supposed to be helping with is the guy.
Yeah.
So they have to work together.
Oh,
and if
fun.
she doesn't, the head of the coven's gonna like rip her apart or something. So like she has to, but like she's like also at the same time like constantly wanting to kill him and shit. And then
just
she,
grappling with that makes for the really good sex scenes.
they don't even have sex in the first book, but what we're gonna do is like, but what if they did?
Yeah.
But what if they did? What if it wasn't a slow burn? What if they just fucked?
Yeah, no, that's so cool. It's like you can get the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
Like,
The fan service is going to be great. When I pitched the idea to her, she went berserk. She's like our age. She's young. She went berserk for it. And I was like, fuck yeah, let's go.
Yeah, that's so awesome. Very cool. How old are you?
I'm 27.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm almost 34. I was like, I'm not young, but...
Will you look?
I was like, wait a minute. Because I felt like you were... I thought you looked like early 20s. And I was like, I feel so ancient right now.
You think I'm early 20s?
Yes, I did. I did. I was like 22, right? Like,
Bro,
for real.
I found white pubes the other day, and I was like, no.
I'm throwing everything. Oh my god, the other day I got like 3 white albino eyelashes, and I was like, where did these
eyelashes
come from?
We get white eyelashes.
Dude, it's insane, because I have like thick dark lashes, so when I look up and I'm like tweezing between, I'm like, wait a minute, what is that? And it's like longer than my other eyelashes, and it's like thick and like stormtrooper helmet white. Like I was like, what the so I plucked it out, right? And then I look at the other eye and I notice there's 2 more on the other eye. I was like, what's happening?
See, I found white eyebrow hairs and I found white hairs.
Oh God.
I should have been able to like claim that in my divorce for like compensation. I feel like the white hairs.
I feel like
I
for me, I could have gotten him to at least pay for like the Botox to get rid of the worry wrinkles like from my forehead. But how would he have paid for anything? He had no money.
I also feel that.
He didn't have any money.
just like a debt that he has to sit with for the rest of his life. He doesn't care because everything is just debt. They never did anything. They're like, what if we use you?
Yeah. Yeah.
What if you were a meal ticket and you're like, wait, do you love me? Does that mean you love me?
Yeah.
Oh man. So is there anything that because you said that you want to trauma dump, is there anything that you want to get
yeah, now that you mention it. So we actually haven't announced it yet, but by the time this comes out it'll be announced, whatever. So I'm actually helping Alterotic like with organizing a nonprofit event for a local domestic violence shelter here in Las Vegas.
That's awesome.
So we're doing a bowling event at Nerd Bar with like a donation drive.
Hell yeah.
And so that's like a topic that's like I'm super, super passionate about, like whatnot. I did survive domestic violence. I've lived a crazy ass life. Crazy. Yeah. I've had timeline, I'm only 27. Mm-hmm. Before I went into this industry, like when I first got out of high school, I was a barber, and then I was a firefighter, and then I was a medic in the Army.
Okay.
And then I got super up in the Army, and then now I do this.
Yeah.
And so within all of that, when I'm talking about like my first, because I've been in I've survived domestic violence twice.
Yeah.
I unfortunately have a type.
Yeah.
Because they're both
also,
like homicidal maniacs.
It's also one of those, things that when you are in a traumatic situation, that's typically what your brain wants to bring you back to because
that feels like
it's
home.
Familiar. You're like, I at least I know what comes with this. Like, it's like you can't know or can't foresee what could happen in something else. So your brain automatically just brings you back to those moments because that's what you've experienced the most.
Those patterns feel like home, and that's why people keep falling into it. So like the first one, I don't even know what the technical term might be for that. I call it domestic violence because I don't know what else to call it. I was like 13, 14, and he was like 18 type shit. You know what I mean? One of those. Yep. And so, I mean, he was a senior in high school, but he got held back a year type shit. And so it was one of those things where it was like, I'm talking like, it was brutal. And my family, it was so ironic, like growing up in the South, I feel like there's a cultural aspect that does come into play with a lot of these situations because, I mean, growing up, like if like the neighborhood boy would like hit on me or whatever, just growing up being dumb kids, it was stupid and she'd be like, oh, my mom would be like, oh, he just has a crush on you. Yeah. She'd say that every time. And I don't know if that had anything to do with that. I feel like that played a certain degree.
I remember hearing a lot of that, like growing up, because it's like, oh, he's pulling your hair, or he's being mean to you. It's just because they like you. And it's like, we need to stop saying that because that's not what that is. But I remember hearing that all the time. So it's like, oh, well, it's just that they like you so much that it makes them act crazy. It's like, what?
and then like growing up with that type of mentality that you're surrounded around, you know what I mean? And
so of course you're going to go into that as an adult, or when you think you're an adult, because we're all an adult as soon as we're 17, basically. We're like, I'm basically just an adult already. It's like literally. Your frontal lobe, or is it your back lobe? I don't even know which lobe is not developed, but it's not by the time you're 25, you know what I mean? Like, so that's the kind of pattern that you fall into. So it's very easy, I think, for young women to get put into those situations. And it's up to hear, like, because everybody has a podcast now, right? So you get all these guys who are like, well, that didn't happen. Or, oh, this just happens to everyone. Everyone has a story. It's like more than should do. Yeah. Like, that's why there are so many people saying it. And it's not like that no one's ever lied about something or, just done anything for like clout or attention. But that's not typically why people share those things that have happened to them. And it's because I feel like and correct me if I'm wrong, this is just my personal experience, that when you're in that, you feel so alone and that you're the only person who's experiencing the things that are happening to you. So if you told them to other people or if you tried to share it, like they wouldn't understand it. And then you feel very alone in it.
Absolutely.
So
dude.
when you are on the other side of it, you're like, I want to talk about it so that other people might hear this who are maybe in a situation that I was in, so they don't feel that empty, aching, like aloneness that like you just feel like you're going to be in it forever.
Well, these like abusive partners or whatnot, those people tend to isolate you even further.
They do.
It's a
take you away
complete
from
manipulation
friends.
tactic. They make you cut off your friends. They make you cut off your family. They make you cut out all the people in your life that would recognize it or try to say something or try to act on it.
Or even even if they can't get you away from them right away, they start planting those little seeds. Like, oh, this person who you're close with, well, they said something to me about you. And I would never. Like, I just thought you should know. And so they start to plant these little things, and they may or may not even be true. Typically, they're not even true. Yeah. But it's like you're at that point that you're like, well, this person cares about me. Why would they say that this person said something unless they really did care and wanted me to like? And so you start having this weird web that they like build around you, and you're trying to weave your way through it. And people are like, how did you not see it? It's like, what do you mean? It was like built around me while I was blindfolded by like, be like, literally. Look at me. Don't pay attention to everything I'm doing, like all around your orbit. And then you're like to the point that you're disconnected even from yourself.
So, dude, what it comes down to is these people end up like warping your sense of reality. So and that's why I hate the like argument, like, well, why didn't you just leave? Why didn't you just leave? Well, that's not how that works. And they completely warp your sense of reality. When I was in my first abusive relationship, I was in for 5 years. And I'm talking like, I was like young. I was way too young to be dating a grown man. And the fact that nobody tried to intervene in that is a problem that a lot to unpack in and of itself. And I have a lot of anger towards my family because of that. But I mean, it is what it is. It's not going to do, you know what I mean? There's no point. But it's one of those things, like, they completely, like, warp your sense of reality. The first guy, something was wrong with him in the head. And I don't mean that, it was to a degree where I'm pretty sure he wasn't like a true psychopath like you think in the movies. But he had blue eyes and they would go black all the time. Like, you know what I'm talking about when their eyes go black? Like, I mean, this man like strangled me. How to strangle me? I can't remember how many times, but it was like, it had to have been over 5 years, like 30 or 40 times. And I just remember his eyes going from blue to black. Like every single time, dude. Like, you know what I mean?
It's like something comes out that they've just been trapping back, and it's like you think one thing is like, maybe this is kind of up or whatever, but then when you see the change, and it can be like the way that their eyes go black, just the way that it's almost like an unfocusing of the gaze as well, at least in my personal experience. Like but it's like their face on a whole changes.
It's like their even their body language,
everything.
I mean, it goes from like you could be sitting on the couch just watching a movie to like, I'm talking like, you know what I mean, like just completely like
in your face, like screaming, just
grabbing you, like
it's like. And I don't even talk about it like that often, because like I don't know a lot of other people who would be comfortable sharing these experiences, and then sometimes I don't know how much to share as well. But like, it's like a lot of people don't understand. Like, he would move us all the time, and you know, and I want to talk about your experience as well, but trying to relate.
Yeah, absolutely.
And like, moving for the isolation, right? Like from the minute we met, it was like, let's move to California, and then we're gonna move here. And every time you start to make some friends or some connections, well, let's break those and let's go this way, because this is where everything is gonna get better if we go here, if you just trust me, if you just follow. And you just keep like waiting for that to happen. But the amount of like broken baseboards and the patches you had to do in drywall just to get like the deposit back from these places. And it's like, people, but you're not gonna tell people that, because in your mind, you're also like, well, I must have done something to elicit these kinds of reactions. And if I just change this, or if I just do this, or if I try to be better or whatever, it won't happen. And it just gets like worse and worse, to that point that you're like, how could I leave? This person will just come find me. And like, where would I go? I have no one now. this is the only person I have, you know?
That's exactly how they do it. They try to isolate you. They try to warp your sense of reality to where you're so codependent that you can't picture life without that person.
No, you can't
think of it. You couldn't, like, the thought of it causes so much more anxiety than getting your ass beat. And that people don't realize that's how bad it is.
No.
Like they just think, well, okay, well, he hit you, just leave. Like that's not how that works. And then you're dealing with a whole different level of crazy that people, the average everyday person that hasn't lived it, cannot like fathom in their head.
Yeah.
Like, for example, like I was 13, 14 years old, getting raped twice a week, getting strangled more times than I can count. But hey, I should have just left.
Yeah.
But hey, why didn't I say something to my parents?
Hey, why didn't anybody else who noticed a grown man with a child say something?
Yeah,
like,
why
why is it always the victim's responsibility to have, like, why you have to shoulder everything that happened, and then you also have to shoulder the responsibility for allowing it to happen?
Yeah.
It's like, it's not necessarily something that you allowed. And like, I've also reached a point that I'm like, yes, looking back now, I can definitely see places, but that's like, you know, hindsight is 2020, right? Because you can look back and you're like, yes, I should have respected myself here. Yes, I should have done something here. But when you're in that moment, you still would have made the same decision because you don't have those experiences to guide those choices in the past.
Well, that, and you're living in survival mode.
Yeah.
We're talking about
fight or flight
living
at
in
all
fight or
times.
flight 24/7, 365.
Yeah.
Like the same amount of adrenaline. Say like there's an active shooter somewhere that people have never experienced that level of cortisol in their body, and they're freaking the out, which is valid.
And
but
you're paying attention to every little reaction of everyone around you because what if
you
they
jump
snap?
a cereal, you're in a grocery store, cereal box falls down, and you jump.
Yeah.
Same concept.
So with my new partner now, so this is just one little example of things. So my ex used to think it was funny to like kick me or hit me in my like vagina, just like standing, just like hit it like as hard as you could, or like you could take it because it's not balls, like type of weird stuff, or just like a slap out of nowhere because he drank a lot and all that kind of stuff. When I started dating my partner now, has never like even raised his voice to me, right? But sometimes even now, if he like moves his hand quickly out of the corner of my eye, I will flinch, and I know he's not going to do anything, but that still lives in you. That's years in the past. It's like those aren't things that are just easy to overcome, and it's very easy for someone on the internet or like just anyone who you try to share this experience with who's never experienced it to be like, well, why didn't you just? It's like, you don't know what you would have done in that situation because luckily you never had to go through it, you know?
And I don't understand people's mentality. Well, I try to like look at it from their point of view because it's so outlandish to them because they never lived it. They're fortunate enough and privileged enough to have never had to deal with the shit we had to deal with. So they can't wrap their head around it, and that's how they're thinking the way that they are.
Yeah.
And so in my head, I try to rationalize it. Like I don't take things as personal anymore, especially when I started speaking out about it on the internet.
Yeah.
When
Everyone has an opinion.
When I first mentioned it on TikTok, because I was with that first guy for 5 years, and I'm not talking about just like regular like sexual harassment or sexual assault. I'm just talking about the hard grade, like rape type. He will rape me twice a week minimum, and that's me trying to like average it out. You know what I mean? Like for 5 years, dude, that's like, I did the math once, and that me up in the head. I ain't even gonna lie. That was like 520 times minimum.
Yeah. Over
5 years. And when I try to like speak out about it, like, hey, don't whatever, people on the internet were just like, oh, like I got touched, so now I'm a whore. Like I remember reading that comment. Oh, I got touched, so now I'm a whore. Or like whatever.
Maybe it's like, here's this opportunity, because for me, like there's been such a separation between sex and self because there had to be, because my sexual abuse with him was different, but I lost my virginity to date rape with someone I thought I was seeing and his friend. And I haven't really talked about that very much, but like there's not I just can't really understand why it's so difficult for people to be like, the sex is the only thing that's important about you. If that's true, then isn't that the same for like men? Like, I needed to separate the sex I was having from myself as a person, because those people didn't care about me as a person. They just cared about whatever my body could do for them. Right. But people think that that's so weird. It's like, well, we already had this like taken from us. So why can't we just use this thing that apparently doesn't mean very much to actually empower ourselves?
Dude, I want to tell you, this industry gave me my body back.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and I think it's because maybe this is the only way that I can kind of like rationalize it in my head, or like try to think about it like this makes sense type thing. There were abusive relationships. Most of the sexual trauma I've ever had outside of like what I've gotten as a stripper, right, has been in like the sexual trauma was in the first one, and a lot of the like psychological abuse and physical abuse was in that first one, and that was over a decade ago. But that still like fucks with me in the head. So the only times I've ever been abused for the most part has been in relationships.
Yeah.
So I don't know if my mind justified it that way, but like I've been single since I got out of the second abusive relationship in 2023. I've been pretty much single the entire time.
Yeah.
Just because for me, I can have sex with somebody and not get triggered.
Mm-hmm.
But if I'm in a relationship with someone, or if I'm talking to someone, like even with like intentions of like figuring out if I like this person in a date, and they go to like, and for example, somebody tries to wrap their arm around me on a first date, I can't. I don't know them, but whatever. But now for a scene, we talk about consent.
Yeah.
We sit down, we have these long consent talks. We sit down and we like, what are you comfortable with? What do you like? What you don't like? What does
Yeah.
big heart know?
It's so nice because like until the industry, I didn't realize that you could even like have boundaries.
Yeah, same.
About your body. I was just like, oh, this is this like meat suit that I inhabit. I'm basically just like a colony of ants wearing a skin suit, and people just use it for whatever they want to.
Yeah.
And I don't really have control over it, so it doesn't matter. But like, I don't like hugs from people I don't know. Like, I'm not a hugger. I'm not a touchy-feely person. It makes me uncomfortable. It actually makes me cringe. But when it's going into a scene and you know exactly what to expect, you're like, perfect.
Yeah,
this
is
like this a
awesome.
lot.
This is a nice bubble. I like this bubble. Like literally. And that's over time. Like, because I haven't been doing it that long compared to a lot of people.
Yeah.
But in my head, I mean, dude, this is the most comfortable I've ever felt, like in a bedroom per se, type thing. And so like, it's really given me my body and my confidence back from that. I mean, that was taken from me over a decade ago. And that was a long time to be living the way that I have, you know what I mean? And so like that first relationship was I mean, like something out of a documentary type. I mean, I genuinely think he was definitely had psychosis. He was like in a constant state of psychosis, like hindsight 2020. He like,
But also, like, you're a child. Like,
Yeah.
you don't know anything
I didn't
about
know.
that. It's just like,
Dude.
this is a person. I don't know anything past.
I didn't, but
Yeah.
like in like hindsight, I think that he had to have been like schizophrenic or something. I know the second one was he got diagnosed after our divorce was with schizophrenia, but the first one, it definitely had like psychopathic tendencies type. Like he didn't view people as people. He would go around telling the high school that he killed somebody and hid the body somewhere. And I think he didn't, but I think he was going to kill me. Because, I mean, he strangled me more times than I can count, statistically speaking. If they strangle you, they're going to kill you.
Yeah.
Type. And it's one of those things where it's like, I mean, there were so many people that witnessed it. And that's the craziest part. This wasn't like all behind closed doors.
Yeah.
He would throw me around the common area at lunch and nobody would say anything. He would throw me to the ground, like by my backpack, and nobody would do anything about it. The teachers, no. The students, no. And everybody saw it. This wasn't like, this was a big area that everybody would sit at for
Just
lunch.
right out in the open. And
Literally
like,
right
"No,
in front of
it's fine."
right in front of where everybody sat for lunch, and nobody would do anything about it. I mean, even his best friend. So there was one night where they were potheads, whatever. At the time, I was very anti that because I was like, that was the era of dare to do drugs or whatever the they did at the time. But
I dared.
I dared. But they were driving the car, and his buddy was in the passenger seat. And I was in the back seat, and they pulled off at like the little Walmart in our little hometown. And he forced me into the trunk, and his friend saw it, and he got into the driver's seat. Well, after he locked me in the trunk, and he did donuts in the parking lot. And so where I live in rural South. I'm from rural South Louisiana.
Yeah.
And so they would drive along the bayou. There's these windy, curvy, dangerous roads, no lights, no nothing. You can't see. Even with your high brights on.
Yeah.
I mean, there's deer. This is in the bayou.
Yeah.
Type. And so he like gunned it and went down the bayous at like 90 miles an hour. You can't go over 35.
Yeah.
So like the car was like tilting and like going around, and I was locked in the trunk screaming.
Yeah.
And then they pulled back into that Walmart, and his friend got in the driver's seat, and he got in the trunk with me, and he raped me in the trunk when I was trying to claw my way out, and I was screaming at the top of my lungs, and his friend didn't do anything.
Oh my God.
And it was one of those things. I was 15 years old, and he was 4 years older than me, so he was 19. He knew better.
Yeah.
He didn't view people as people.
Yeah.
And so it's one of those things where it's like...
It's what some people can't understand about, like, you know, even, especially if they've never been through it, but I think a lot of people don't think, like, some people are just wrong. Mm-hmm. Like, some people are just evil. There's just a thing, and nurture or nature versus nurture, whatever it is, that's just a thing that exists. Because my ex would also talk about people like they weren't real and that everyone else was inferior and just, like, a waste of... space. So he would talk about like how I would never eat food again if I could just have a cube that would be like everything that I needed, and like talk about how like women shouldn't have ever been allowed to vote, like, you know, had all these like crazy ideations, and then just talking about people like they didn't matter, would like, you know, want to watch things like people being murdered, like just crazy things.
Oh yeah,
that don't start presenting themselves until you're like so entrapped in this casing that they've built and shoved you inside of, that you're like, well, now you're showing me who you are as a person. If I leave, what the is going to happen to me? Like, you know,
and it was one of those things where it's like, I think he was gonna kill me. Yeah. I think, well, he tried to strangle me more times than I can count. Yeah. I don't understand how I'm alive. I don't understand how I survived that. I've died twice, not related to a man. Well, okay, we'll get there. But
we have so many layers to unravel.
But like I've died, like I have walked in the shadow of the valley of death per se, or however you want to call it, my entire life. Yeah. So when I say nothing phases me, yeah. But it's one of those things where it's, I don't understand how that man specifically didn't kill me, because if either of them were gonna kill me, it was gonna be that one, and I don't understand how I don't know. I'm not Christian or whatever, but that was crazy. I don't understand how I'm alive. Yeah. But the second one, so before I get there, so when I left that relationship, I was 19 years old. I just got like graduated cosmetology school. I didn't realize that wasn't normal. Yeah. So because that was like 13 to 19. Yeah. That is a long time.
Especially because like no one was saying anything to you. So you're just like, well, this is...
Like my daddy didn't beat up on my mom or nothing. It wasn't like that was like an example at home per se. It wasn't. But like for me, I was so far gone psychologically that I couldn't comprehend reality around me.
Yeah, you just start to think that that's what you deserve and that's what the world is, because that is your world, because they have made that your world.
Yeah. And so like I didn't even realize that wasn't normal until I was maybe 21, 22 years old. And then I was technically in a third abusive relationship. There was one in between the two big ones, but he kicked me once and he threw his phone at me so hard that it left a bruise on my knee. But like that's pretty tame compared to the other two. Like the one that was crazy and would strangle me and beat me and me all the time, and then the one I was unfortunately married to. And so like that was kind of like a little gap year.
Yeah. A little experiment.
We gotta laugh about it because we know we're gonna cry about it.
No,
But
I feel you, because you're saying all these things about your different, and I was like, oh, it's so interesting, because I had basically like the rape, and then I had my little gap year, just like hooking around, and then I like married this guy who was kind of just everything, just progressively worse until the end. It was like, it didn't start with physical abuse, it didn't even start with emotional abuse. Like at first it was just everything is so amazing, and then it just like twisted. It was like my life was a pair of testicles, and he had just wait, oh, okay, I don't know what way's up anymore. And then it was just like a decade of
I know, literally.
Because I have to like joke about it, because like it was like at first, because there was no like sexual abuse, I was like, oh, that's like kind of why I finally like let him wear me down and start to date him, because I was like, okay, like he's respecting this or whatever. And then like just a big stream started, like we had sex for the first time, and the morning after he got into the shower with me, which I already thought was weird because I'm just not a proximity person. No one ever showered with me. He starts like washing my hair, and as he's washing my hair, and I'm very uncomfortable, he starts telling me about how he doesn't know if we could be together because no one else has ever been able to fulfill his fantasy before, and he just doesn't know if he could be with somebody who wouldn't be able to fulfill him sexually. So then starts talking about how he wants me to other men. And I was like 18, I think, almost 19. And it just became this long progression of like, now I know that cuckolding is a fantasy, and it's one that I've like role played with people before. It's fine. There's a difference between that and just like I wasn't consenting at the very first, but then it became this thing of like, well, I really want this person to like me, so I'll try this. Like I'm talking like crying through the first experience, and then him screaming at me on the way back to the apartment for crying, for like, and it just started twisting and developing until it was like more and more he would withhold like sex like between us. He would tell me that we wouldn't do it anymore, and then it would be like an ultimatum of do this or else this. He would record all of them, like even before I did anything within the industry. So then he would start holding things over that, like basically just blackmailed me with things throughout the entire relationship. And it was just like this like moment of, I look back and I was like, it felt so good at the very beginning, because I was like, oh, this is like a person who cares about and respects me. And then it's like I can't fully piece together like why I got twisted into it. But that's what, like, you can't explain it fully, because it's like you can't put yourself back in that headspace to figure out why you let it happen. Because the more that you try to like break it apart and rip it open, it's like, I don't think that you're ever going to be fully healed from it. Like, do you know what I mean? Yeah. You'll get like bits and pieces here and there, but it's different for everyone.
It is, dude. Like last 2 years, I thought that I was like, oh, I'm healing, like this and the third. But my therapist put it this way. She was like, once we finally get to a stagnant place after years of like being in like trauma and like whatever the situation is, then that's when it all starts to crash down. I just bought my first house in this economy. And dude, when I tell you, it's now kind of like hitting me all at once, the severity and like of all of it, like not just the husband, because I divorced him relatively recently, but everything
else that led up to it. It is what happens, and it's funny because it goes through cycles too, because at first you're like, oh, I'm doing really well, and it hits you out of nowhere, like it happens, right? And then you're like, okay, so I'll unpack a bit of this, I'll move forward, and then you're healed again. And then something happens and it all crashes down like again. And it's like, you just have to keep rebuilding. And it's like you keep like burning the same spot on your skin. And like, as soon as it's healed and like the scab has fallen off, you like burn it again. And you're like, okay, I can take this now. It's like you get to a place of comfortability or stagnation or whatever, where you're like, okay, now I can start unpacking all these things. But then unpacking those things in the quest to like heal and be better and like learn from those experiences, you feel like, oh my God, have I learned anything? Because I just feel like instantly like I'm back in that place, which feels like a different person than you are now. So it's like you have these two entities inside of you that are just battling for dominance at all times.
Inside me, I have these two wolves.
Honey, what does it make you think of? Sweet, delicious, sticky, licking it off your partner? If you want to have fun with a special friend or are someone who loves self-pleasure, Honey Playbox has the toys for you. Use our code TWND to save 15% on your purchase. Amp up your playtime at honeyplaybox.com. You deserve pleasure, so elevate your experience with Honey Playbox and support our show by using code TWND at checkout. Watching podcasts is fun. Watching reruns, also fun, but nothing beats a live experience. Check out our friends at Jerkmate by going to jkmte.com/TWND. Every sign up helps our show. Don't jerk alone. Get your front row seat to live events. Try a Gold Show from the comfort of your couch. Check the show description or go to jkmte.com/TWND to try it out. And they're both gay.
And they're kissing.
There's a rainbow going on. I think there's a dolphin. I don't know what's happening anymore. I'm unraveled.
But dude, God. Exactly. I tell you what, like the second one, at first, because it never starts out like abusing you right at the get go. It never starts out that way, and people don't understand
what people
that.
assume if you've never been in one of those situations. Like, why would you get with someone who just started beating you? It's like we went out on our first date, and he's like, "Hey,
hey, nice to meet you."
I call this a girlfriend beater because you're not my wife yet. And you're like this, it's not a pickup line. It's
well, for me, it might as well be. we can laugh. It was about us.
Oh, typically it develops over like time.
Yeah. Maybe weeks. We're talking months, hell, even years.
Yeah, sometimes.
It's completely dependent on person to person.
Yeah, and it also is dependent on the person who becomes your abuser, because they all have a different way of like hunting down their prey, because essentially that is what they are. Mm-hmm. They're predators.
They are.
Hunting prey.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, what can this person do for me? What can I get out of this? Is it going to be a ha-ha for me? Is it going to be like, what kind of mental illness do they have brewing around in there? Who knows? Could be narcissism, could be a psychopath. Like, there's so many things that you don't know, and that varies person to person. And then your own personal experiences like dictate how you react to whatever their approach is. Mm-hmm. And that's why, and typically you're also not like, I feel like it is when you're young. Mm-hmm. That's when you get roped in, because that's when
that's when you're young and vulnerable.
Yeah. I met him when I was like 17, 18. It's like, mm-hmm. Yeah, of course. Because it's like at the point you think you know everything. Because during your teenage years, you're like, oh, I definitely know everything there is to know.
I'm an adult now.
Yeah. Oh my God.
And that's never how that ends up. Like, it's just crazy, dude. These people are insane. Like, the husband that I was married to, so we met when we were both in the military. And to this day, like, I don't understand what I was thinking. Now, when I really like first like actually talked to him when we were both in the military, it was after I already got it hurt. Mm-hmm. So whenever I was in the military, for some context, I became super hella disabled when I was in the military. I died the first time because they accidentally overdosed me on Ativan, like the liquid generic version, lorazepam or whatever it's called. It's lorazepam, and so what ended up happening was I had essentially. They caused nerve damage whenever I was in basic training, mm-hmm. due to the at Fort Sill is the only place to my knowledge that still does it, the peanut butter shot. For those that don't know, it's so thick it feels like peanut butter. Mm-hmm. Like it's I think it's bicillin, it might be penicillin, some kind of psyllin.
I've had it.
Oh,
I was in basic training.
Oh fuck! Hi.
Air Force.
We're Army. Let's go.
Let's go.
So I had no body fat. And
Yeah.
so you know how they're supposed to put it in your butt cheek? Mm-hmm. They did it in my hip. Here.
Oh.
Here.
Well,
Like, if you
that's
touch this is bone.
That's not where that goes.
No, it's not. And you have your sciatic nerve
Yeah.
runs over that area. They injected into my sciatic nerve. So,
Ugh.
and I felt it going in all the way down. And that's how I knew they hit my nerve. I felt it going all the way down.
Oh my God.
Like all the way down my leg. And that's how I was like, hey, I think you hit a nerve. I was a firefighter before I went to the military. And so I was like, hey, I think you hit a nerve. I knew like generalness of like anatomy.
Yeah.
And he was like, no, you know what you're talking about. And I was like, right, you don't know what you're talking about. You're just talking private. It's fine. And I was like, okay. And so
Meanwhile, your leg is like,
no, literally. So at first, it was just hard to walk on it.
Yeah.
And I had, but it was fine. Everybody had super sore legs, so it wasn't like nothing out of the normal, whatever from that. But then when I went to put my belt on, like, you know, you gotta put your pants on. I went to put my belt on. It sat right over that area.
Ooh.
Right over that area. So I had to hike my pants up the entirety of basic training.
Ooh.
Like, I'm talking like I had hiked it up to like higher up, which fit fine with the uniform. So, you know, those pants don't fit women right.
No.
And so I had
Nothing about that uniform is flattering.
No, it is not.
The beige was really beige. And I was like, whoa.
This is an odd green to pick. And so, like, the belt had to get higher up because, okay, like, problem solved. It wasn't hitting the nerve. It wasn't causing me problems. Out of sight, out of mind. Ain't gonna worry about it.
Yeah.
Until I got an injury on this opposite knee.
Yeah.
And then I started putting and that was it happened in basic. I ignored it, as we all do. We don't go to sick call. Then we're going to get stuck there even longer. And so when I was in AIT, I never fully graduated AIT. I called my medical retirement a participation trophy.
There you go.
I don't consider myself a veteran. I don't call myself that. You will never hear me call myself that. I didn't do
Just went through basic training.
All I did was
you're like, I got injured and I was miserable, so
all I did was die. That's what I tell people. All I did was die. And people are like, well,
how are you? You're like, let me tell you a story.
So what happened was, and so months go by and I don't have a problem with it. I go through basic. I'm halfway through my medic training. So like I'm about to take my NREMT, and I would have passed it too if they let me take the test, but like I was trying to do the Scooby-Doo thing.
Yeah,
anyways,
I actually got that in my.
Okay, word. I would have.
If it wasn't for your kids,
meddling kids, I would have passed it too.
And the sleeping dog.
And then hell, what happened? My knee injury. I was putting a lot of weight on that leg, and I don't know. The doctor at the sick call thinks that by injecting me with that, it kind of my nervous system, and I don't know if putting weight on this leg exaggerated that injury that was already there to the nerve.
It could be,
or what, because that's what they were thinking. Well,
yeah, because like, and nerves are so tricky too, because like I even have like, can you see my pinky toes bruised right here? This is literally just from like wearing shoes too tight for too long, which is normally not a problem, but you get one nerve wrong. I couldn't feel this toe for like 3 weeks.
I believe it.
I was like, what?
Dude, nerves are crazy.
They're so weird.
And they're very important. It's very important not to inject them with penicillin.
Super important.
Injecting it with penicillin is not a good idea. Don't do this at home.
Yeah. Don't
do this at home.
Don't inject penicillin.
So they don't know if the penicillin is what they think the penicillin somehow shocked. I don't know if it caused my nervous system to go into shock. They don't know what happened. Yeah. But essentially,
they could have known maybe if the guy had, taken heed of your warning
hey,
right away.
I think you hit my nerve. If he pulled it out and put the rest somewhere else, it would have been fine. But what do I know? I'm just a dumb girl. And so
I'm just a private.
I'm literally just a girl.
And literally just
a girl. And then so what ended up happening is with the injury on this leg, I was putting a lot of weight on this leg. And then one day, I guess my body just had enough. Because I was 21 years old and I looked like I had Parkinson's.
Oh.
And it started practically overnight. At first, I'm going to turn so you can see my back where I'm talking about. At first, because it was all on the right side of my spine.
Yeah.
And it started down here.
Yeah.
And it crept up. So it was started down here first. It was just like pulling my like shoulder down a little bit. And then it crept up into my neck. My neck was literally, I have degenerative disc disease in my neck and spine because the spasms were so violent. It looked like my neck was trying to break itself like this.
Oh my God.
Every 3 to 5 seconds.
That's fucked.
And then from there, I mean, when I tell you, dude, it was like something out of a horror movie. Like
I was literally thinking I was like some exorcist.
It felt like I was trapped in my own body. And that was arguably one of I would say top 10 like scariest. I would say top 5.
Yeah, I can.
Scariest that I've ever had to deal with is because I couldn't speak because the vocal cords in my like throat also got affected by it. Yeah. So I couldn't speak. Whenever I would try to speak, my vocal cords would spasm to the point it would take like 2 minutes to say a sentence.
Yeah.
And so I literally like looking like this. That's unable to speak, and then the tremors in my hands and feet started. I couldn't like feed myself. I couldn't use a fork, and I was just a firefighter.
Yeah.
And I went into this, and it was just one of those things where it was like I was at the prime of my life.
Yeah.
And like the highest physical shape I have ever been in at this point in my life, and I was trapped in my own body. I couldn't speak. I could barely walk. You know how like a chameleon walks?
Yeah, like that slow, like juddering. Yeah. Oh my God.
That's how I walked.
Yeah.
That's it, and I was on a walk. At first, they gave me underarm crutches, as they do, and they gave me ibuprofen.
Oh yeah.
And then they were
not
like, "We're gonna
not even the big ibuprofen."
But they wouldn't even send me to neurology at first. They tried to send me to physical therapy. Physical therapy. When I was walking, like
I can't speak.
I couldn't speak. I couldn't walk. I couldn't move my arms. They put me under underarm crutches when my shoulder was getting pulled down.
You're like, you're gonna have to resize these crutches like every day. Just give me a walker.
See, I didn't even think about that.
Like every day you get lowered to resize the crutches.
I didn't think about trying to lower it because I was already too short for the crutches. But maybe if they got in a smaller pair and lowered it, I wouldn't have hit
this
my
like
arm
one
on
guy's
it
job
so
every day is just to chop
times.
off the bottom of the crutch so it gets a little lower to bend with you.
Yeah.
America.
This is American healthcare right here. And then, so eventually what ends up happening is they send me for a psych eval because I had a mental breakdown in the doctor's office, understandably so.
Like, yeah, obviously.
And they're like, the guy sees me hysterically crying about it because I was just sitting there, like, unable to, like, move, speak, or do anything.
You're like, the only thing I can do is cry. I have to go to therapy?
And, well, it wasn't even that. They thought I was, like, making this in my head or something, like it was anxiety.
What?
They send me to behavioral health. The guy goes, actually, I'm gonna get a second opinion. Doesn't tell behavioral health. Doesn't tell me. Has a nurse escort me to behavioral health. Once I get to behavioral health, they're like, did you tell them you're gonna kill yourself? I said no. I said I was tripping on my crutches because I was tripping on the damn crutches.
Yeah.
I said no, I was tripping on the crutches and they sent me here because I started crying.
Because my shoulder is caving in.
Yeah.
You see? So I was having trouble using the crutches.
I started crying in the doctor's office and they sent me here. And they were like, they said what? They got pissed.
Yeah.
They were out, the psychologist there, bro. Those ladies, I swear to God, saved my life. Yeah. Well, I ended up dying in the ER, but they were, but they were the only ones advocating for me. They were like, they sent you to psychology when you need a goddamn neurologist. They were livid. They said, I'm not telling you to do this, but if you were my daughter,
Sue.
Well, that too. But they were like, but if you were my daughter, I'd be going up to that ER every single day until somebody takes care of you because this is ridiculous. You don't need a psychologist. You need a goddamn neurologist.
Yeah.
Her words, not mine. I said, fair. So I went to the ER. I had one of the little drill sergeants drive me to the ER.
Yeah.
And so, and this all took place at like Fort Sam Houston in San Antonio. They have a Air Force there as well. It's a joint base, medical training base. And so they sent me to Brooke Army Medical Center, which is one of the top 10 hospitals in the entire country.
There you go. And
they kill me. And so
Yeah.
so at this point, I can't hold a cup
Yeah.
to drink water, and they didn't have straws at the DFAC. And I couldn't hold a fork or spoon to feed myself. So I was
Oh
just
my
having
God.
mental breakdowns. For the first 4 months of all this, I was in hardcore denial.
Yeah.
Hardcore, like severe denial. People would be like, "Hey, how you doing?" And I'd be like, "I'm fine. What are you
great.
talking about? I'm fine. I don't know what you're. I genuinely don't know what you're talking about."
Your
Like,
crutch falls over. You're just like, this is actually
this-
great.
this
I
is
wanted
fine.
to do that. I like to give myself challenges.
I can reach down pretty good. Right now with this one arm. So I could grab it. It's fine. I was hardcore severe denial. And so at this point, I finally started actually having mental breakdowns, and that's why I cried in the doctor's office and why I cried at the DFAC.
You can only make jokes for so long
So
before you have like a panic attack and a breakdown.
Yeah.
And then we get back to the humor eventually. It's all a cycle.
That is.
You laugh your way through it, then you cry, then you scream, then you laugh your way through it
and
again,
then
and we
you
just keep
cry.
going. Yeah.
And so I go to the ER, and they do all these tests, and they, in the process of it all, because I can't stop spasming. I can't feed myself. Like,
Yeah.
this is an actual, none of the medications that were giving me were, all the insane muscle relaxers were not working.
Yeah.
My body could not stop. So the doctor wasn't on staff, but they called her, that neurologist, you, Captain Jordan. And so the neurologist keeps telling them, oh, just keep giving her lorazepam. Just keep giving it to her until it stops. Supposedly. Maybe the ER nurse was lying. Maybe she was just trying to shift play. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
either way.
at this point in
Sus.
time, I was even smaller than I am now.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like 110 pounds max.
Yeah,
I
she's
could barely,
very tiny. We might not be able to tell from like just because you're watching on your phone or a computer, but she's very tiny.
This is a very small chair, and it
is.
fits me perfectly.
I look ridiculous when I sit in that chair. That's why I have the bigger chair, because of my big legs.
and so like I'm not a very big person, and they just kept pushing me syringe after syringe of lorazepam. And that's a muscle relaxer. It's what they give rowdy behavioral health patients in the like psych units and whatnot. If there's somebody starts beating on somebody, okay, give them the
Lorazepam.
give them
Give her the pan.
give them the Ativan. That's what it is.
Yeah.
And they gave me like, I want to say 2 or 3 syringes full. First of all, I found out after the fact, because I did my research, they're supposed to put that in an IV drip. They gave me syringe after syringe after syringe. And so that night I went into respiratory arrest, and then respiratory.
So they were injecting you like you were freaking out on someone instead of just like,
I was
you're a
literally just,
patient
like-
and so let's put it into your IV. They're like, nope.
they gave it to me in my IV,
Fucking-
but not a bag.
Yeah.
They
Just mainline it.
yeah. And they said,
Christ.
yeah, watch this. Look what we can make her do. And so that night I stopped breathing because of respiratory. I went into respiratory depression, then respiratory arrest. And then from there, if you go into respiratory arrest, people that are CPR certified know that, okay, go into cardiac arrest, because now you're not breathing.
Yeah.
So I went into cardiac arrest. There's this 1%, and when I'm talking to them and I say I don't know how I'm alive today, there's this 1% chance of instantaneous like recirculation. There's a term for it, a medical term for it. I don't think I got that term right just now. Don't sue me.
Whatever it
Google
is, she has
Whatever.
it.
Yeah, I did. So it happened to be, I wasn't connected to the heart monitor. They didn't have the thing on my finger. They didn't have anything monitoring my heart. And so what ended up happening was the vital tech happened to walk in. So at every morning at 4 a.m., they would come in and draw my blood, not through my IV, just through another, like they would stab me again. And I hate needles. I'd always wake up at 4 a.m. on the dot. And this was like maybe my 3rd or 4th hospitalization at this ER. Or I was inpatient at this point at the time. So the vital tech knew me. Everybody knew me. They were like, look at this bitch, she's back again.
Yeah.
And he walks in and I wasn't breathing. And so he starts flipping the out because I wasn't connected to nothing.
Oh, wow.
And so other than like, I wasn't even connected. I don't even think my BP cuff was like plugged in. Like this is like, we're talking about like severe medical negligence and I wasn't even allowed to sue for at the time.
What?
Because they only made it a law recently for people to be able to sue for medical malpractice in the military. So
That's
I completely agree.
That's fucked
So
up.
what ended up happening was spontaneous like recirculation or whatever the hell it's called. It's like a 1% chance. Like you'd never bet on that. You do the AED, you do CPR or whatever. You call 911. That ended up happening with me, and I happened to like start breathing again from it the second that he like ran out the door to like go get somebody. I found out all this after the fact.
Yeah.
But they were everybody was freaking the out. It was a huge ordeal, and I ended up waking up like a couple hours later being like, what the fuck just happened? Next day they tried to gaslight me, say it never happened. I said, when I was like, hey, they said after like the night passed and I woke up the next day or whatever, I tried to be like, hey, so what's the deal with this? Y'all need to check me out. Like, what's going on? Like, this happened last night. And they were like, what are you talking about? They didn't record it. They didn't document it. They didn't do.
Oh, what?
Because it happened on their watch.
That's insane.
And so that was the first time that I died. Both times were because of lorazepam, so I cannot have lorazepam anymore.
Yeah, no more.
Don't give me lorazepam.
Is that what never again is for?
No, that was because I kept getting abused. But yeah.
I kind of figured I had to put it in.
No more lorazepam. Never again. But like that was that, right?
Yeah.
And so by the time that I met my ex-husband, I was in a walker.
Oh, wow.
I met him during all of this. And so this is how you know predators prey on young women. They prey on vulnerable women.
Yeah, wherever, because if they can make you think that you need them, then they are a piece of you forever.
And I couldn't handle the thought after we were living together, whatever, because we were long distance for a year. Because after this, I got out of the military. I was magically handed,
really.
I was magically handed a full medical retirement, not like Chapter 4, not like medical discharge.
Yeah,
it was Chapter 4. That's a retirement, but not the medical discharge or whatever.
Like, we'll give you the retirement, just don't say anything.
Yeah, no, literally. And so I got medically retired out. I'm at 100% permanent total with the VA.
There you go.
I'm set with all that. And so with that, I mean, I met him during that. And then I got out, I went back home. And then we were long distance for a year. And then I decided to go visit him. I flew out. We spent some time together. We decided then and there that I was going to move in with him. We said we were going to get married.
Happens real quick, doesn't it?
Happens real quick. Yeah.
It happens so quick.
We were going to get married. I thought we were getting married because we loved each other.
Yeah, I did too.
He was under the assumption that we were getting married for the benefits. For the BH. For the TRICARE. I didn't need TRICARE. I had the VA.
Yeah.
But he told me, oh, I thought we were getting married so we could afford to live together. I said, when I made it clear several times, I was like, I would rather struggle financially than marry somebody that doesn't, like, for the benefits. I told him that.
You probably don't get that much more benefits for all the pain and suffering that you got out of it. You know what I mean?
Right. The sex was terrible. I couldn't even say that was a benefit because it really, really wasn't.
It wasn't either. I had my pussy eaten once in a decade.
Same. It was so bad that I actually didn't want anybody to do that ever again until I got into porn.
I actually don't really like my pussy. I do in a way. Okay, so I do like when someone is into it, but sometimes I'll do scenes with other girls who are not into girls, which is totally fine. I understand, gay for pay, do your thing, whatever works for you. I like women and men.
Same.
Sometimes when a girl who doesn't like girls is eating your pussy, I just feel like I'm back in like that one time that he ate my pussy. And I was like,
we're just kind of looking at him like, hi,
no,
you done yet?
I mean, do you want me to pretend that I'm coming? Like, it just throws me right back there. Cause I'm like if you don't want to eat it, but I do like it up. I think there's a part of me that really likes to be a giver more than a receiver anyway, just because I have the control, which is back to the whole control mechanism. Yeah. But man, isn't it funny like how it's like there's no redeeming quality if the sex wasn't even good. It's like you don't get like that good sex from the dark romance novels where it's like they hate each other, but they also have really passionate,
like
kinky sex.
Fucking, yeah.
And you just think back and you're like, what was I doing?
Yeah, I know. I can't even like be like, oh, at least the sex is good. Yeah. My ex-husband said that. At least the sex was good. And I looked at him, I said, you think? And that was after our divorce. For who? For you, probably, not for me. And so I met him when we got married, right? Yeah. And I get knocked up like damn near instantly after I move out there, and we keep that from my family for a hot minute. And so at first it wasn't bad. At first I had a lot of unhealthy like coping mechanisms from my previous abusive relationship. So I worked on that because I recognized that. I was like, this is kind of a problem.
Yeah, same. So, I feel like you don't really get out of it without having some unhealthy things to work through.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely. It just comes because it's from survival. So
yeah.
That's just
you do what you can to get through the thing.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
And so I worked on it, and I like, because at first I would go into fight or flight and I would run. I would genuinely like run out of the room, and then he would follow me. He followed me. Yeah. He would do that a lot. Yeah. And even though when I would tell him, because I would try to be more vocal about it.
They don't want you to have your own space, to have your own thoughts, and to sit with your feelings, and to sit with what you're thinking and decompress. Because if you can decompress, then you can think rationally. So they crowd you at all times. Like if my ex wanted to be alone, I had to let him be alone. But if I wanted to go somewhere, I once wanted to just like go for a walk, and he like chased me down in the car, or he would like block me from going out. So I'm going to hit you with the car. Like if you don't get back here, like right now, like that kind of like, because they can't let you process. Yeah. So then you have to always
like,
stay in
that. Exactly. Like he would make me leave him alone to play video games with his friends. But the second that I try to take space,
you're doing this, you're doing that. But
oh, he would yell at me to do for not doing the dishes when I was in a wheelchair. Because at first I was in a walker. Yep. And then they eventually bit the bullet, and I was like, okay, I can't, because I couldn't stand for more than 10 minutes at a time. And even then, that was really pushing it. And I couldn't walk a lot. Like I couldn't, like it was just, it was so painful from the like the waist down. It was just agony. Like it like imagine like the worst leg day from hell you could imagine, with the soreness and then add nerve pain to that. Like I'm talking burning, like my spine felt like it was severing like all the time. Like it hurt so bad to walk. And he would scream at me for not doing the dishes. He's like, all you do is sleep all day. All you do is sleep all day. I was pregnant. With nerve injuries, with severe morning sickness, and throwing up would aggravate my nerves.
Yeah, of course.
I had really bad
even if you don't have nerve damage, literally aggravates your nerves.
Literally,
it's always like trying to make you feel that no matter what you're doing, it's not enough, or you're lazy or whatever. But then, and so you start to think that you're like, oh, I'm just a lazy, so I must be doing things at all times. I have to take care of everything because I'm falling behind. I'm doing these things. And then when you get out of that and you look back, you're like, what the did you ever do? Like, how did I think that my life would be so terrible outside of the situation? Because like I really felt like I had no value, like I didn't do anything, that I didn't know how to take care of myself. And you're taking care of a grown ass man and child. Yourself, like,
and the like, dogs and the birds,
everything, it's all your responsibility. And if you fall behind on this, it's like, well, why don't you help with this? It was funny, I was going through notes on my phone the other day, like trying to clear out old ones, and I was like, wow, this is really old. And I was like, what is this? And I start reading it, and it sent me back, because there was this time that he was telling me, and this was when I was like camming for like 12 hours a day, like doing everything else, like you don't do anything, like,
and you listed out all the things.
So I have like, I deleted it because I like couldn't look at it anymore, but I had like a month record of here's what I did in a day, and everything that I did I would write down, like did all the laundry, did the dishes, like cleaned, cooked, did this, did the other thing. And I remember making these lists just to be like, look, I'm doing the things, but then it didn't matter. Right? So you're keeping this.
I did the same
record
thing.
Yeah.
I did this. Like, you're preaching to the choir.
Because you just want to, because you're like, it's maybe like, I'm crazy.
Yeah. Like, I was fully convinced I was crazy.
Because at first you're like, okay, maybe I really am just like being like really selfish or like whatever. So what if I start keeping a list of everything that I can like do as I'm doing it so that I know what I'm doing, I know what I'm contributing, and then you get to the end of it and you're like, but see, this is the things I've been doing. And it's like, oh, well, how do I even know that you've done those things?
Dude, I had
because the house isn't falling apart.
No, literally, dude. It drove me nuts because like I had genuine memory memory loss from brain damage from dying.
Yeah,
which he knew, which is and he knew that, and he used that to try to convince me that I was crazy. He did that to our entire marriage of like 3-4 years. Anytime that I tried to say something, anytime I tried to advocate for myself, like anytime I tried to point out his behavior, anytime I tried to be like, no, I did this, and this around the house. No, like I did this. No, I cleaned up after you. Like, no, I did this. He'd be like, oh, you're just remembering it wrong.
Yeah.
You have memory
You're
damage.
creating your
not,
own narrative to make me look like a bad person because you can't handle, what a piece of you are. So now you're going to blame me. And now I'm sure it's all my fault. Well, you would fall apart if I wasn't here. Like it just... It goes in this endless chamber, and you're like, what is happening?
He would use my brain damage and memory loss as a reason to gaslight me. Like, he would gaslight me with that. And that happens a lot with people that are disabled, that are unfortunately stuck in abusive relationships. They always do the memory card. It's like that's what I call it, the memory card. It's like, what else is there to call it? Because they pull that card. It doesn't matter what the argument's about. It doesn't matter what the chores were. It doesn't matter what the subject that is at hand. It's just like, oh, well, you're remembering it wrong. Like my version is the only version because you can't remember. And so he would use that against me all the time. And then like it got to the point where I genuinely thought I was crazy. And so I had all these my notes app, it goes crazy. My notes app had all these lists of all the things I did, all these grocery lists, because he would say I'd forget store. He like every single thing, conversations I would type out like how he hurt my feelings.
Because I would try to make long messages. I remember I would like stay awake at night when he would like pass out from drinking or go to sleep or whatever, and I would just write out things like, here's this little bit of time where I can like think and try to articulate what I'm saying. And I would write these things like, this is why I felt hurt by this, like I want to make things better. I found old like actual handwritten journals of just like things that I would try to say to him to like figure out a way to make the relationship what I thought it should be, which is like what it was in the beginning, which was good, and it's like none of that stuff ever mattered, because if you're also having like a text, conversation with someone like that, it's like you'll send like a very thought out. That's why there's no point in putting thought into it, because they already know what they're going to say, because they know which parts. They already know. Here's the thing. They already know why you're upset, because they did it. They orchestrated it. They directed it. They wrote it. They know the script. They already know why you're upset. They don't need you to tell them. No amount of explaining it to someone who's done this to you is going to make them see that it's a bad thing, because they know and they don't care.
They don't. And
that's the thing. So you look back, you feel even more insane, because you're like, I was trying to rationalize to a person who was abusing me why it hurt that they were abusing me. Yeah. And then they were like, I'm not abusing you.
That hurt. Yeah. No, literally, because it's so true. Like, it's literally, I was trying to rationalize and try to reason with the man who hurt me, because he was abusing the out of me, like playing all these mind games, screaming at me for not doing enough when I was in a wheelchair, pregnant, heavily pregnant, in a wheelchair. And the man would try to and abusing the out of me, and I would try to like defend myself or like advocate for myself or or
I know why you're upset, but and try to like make them feel better for feeling bad that you weren't doing enough when you're the one who's doing everything. And it's because that's not how your brain works. If you're someone who's being manipulated by that, you can't understand how someone would already have orchestrated this whole plan to make you feel crazy, to make you feel small, because they know how big you are and how much you have to offer and how much value you have. So if they make you think you don't have any, then they get to keep all of it for themselves.
No, literally.
So you can't rationalize that. And it's like, if you are in a situation that's like that too, and you're writing these long messages to your partner, get the out because they're not going to care about them. Let me tell you, like my current partner, I've never had to write out some huge, like long explanation of this fight we had because what do? We talk.
Yeah.
You just talk. You don't scream. You don't yell. You talk everything out until you're like blue in the face and then it's done. Like everything is discussed. There's no yelling. There's no like, if you have to explain to someone why they're hurting you, chances are is they already know. So there's no point. You're just like hurting yourself more.
Yeah, because you're trying to like beg this man to be nice to you when he genuinely hates you.
Yeah.
There's no point in trying to beg an abusive piece of to love you because he doesn't love you.
No, he hates you.
You're trying to convince someone to love you.
He loves what you do for him. And that's not even necessarily like, oh, you're not doing enough. It's like what you provide for him. Something that you don't even know that you're providing. It's like the entertainment of watching you unravel.
Yeah. And that's what it all like comes down to, which is crazy because so another thing, like for example, I was like 7-8 months pregnant. I felt the worst about my body I ever felt. I had an extremely high risk pregnancy because I have 3 arrhythmias.
Oh my
3.
God.
I have inappropriate sinus tachycardia. I have premature ventricular contractions and premature atricular contractions.
You were meant to be here. I don't know what to tell you because everything's trying to take you out. And you're like, ha.
I know, literally, I'm like,
That was the coolest shit ever.
because like when I say I feel like I can't be killed at this point, like it's gonna take a bomb.
Yeah.
It's gonna take something explosive.
Nah, you'll be like a cockroach too. Just
no,
like keep
literally, I'll
crawling
just
back
like
from that.
I'll be missing a leg and that's it. And you'll see me doing peg leg porn and that's fine.
Yeah.
Like, but
you're like, watch what I can do, and then you just
dude, I would put a dildo in a peg leg too.
oh, yeah.
I would.
You could use it on someone else. Just like reclining back.
No, literally, just the leg day goes. And then so when to get back to this, so the second time I died.
Yeah.
So within all of this, right? The second time happened with the husband.
Yep.
And at this point, when this happened, it was bad. It was really, really, really bad. We were sleeping separately for a long time. At this point, I couldn't even, he wouldn't even speak to me half the time. And when he did, it was screaming at me.
Yeah.
And then he would cuss me out. He would make me think most of his psychological, except for this one time. And I would, with all the I already talked about, with how severe that one was, maybe it's because it was a decade ago. Maybe it's because now I'm an adult with a fully developed brain. Maybe it just hit different. I don't know. Pun intended. And so this time, what ended up happening was, it all kickstarted with me dying the second time.
Yeah.
And so my friend had to bring me, because at the time I was getting ketamine therapy for a year. It helped me. It got me out of a wheelchair. I was stripping at the time.
Oh.
He suggested I start stripping.
Yeah.
He pushed. It's always the men that push us into sex work, and then
They're
people,
like, why did you join the industry? And I'm like, I don't have like a polite way to say that my ex-husband didn't want to work and forced me to get out of the military and then made me start stripping and all this other kind of stuff. I don't know how to say that, so I'm just like, I don't know. I was young. Scamming. Get Soul. Go to getsoul.com and use code TWND to save 30% on your order. You can find a nice variety of different beverages, gummies. They have sleep gummies. They have big brain soul gummies with a little bit of caffeine. They're tangerine and they're so yummy. And you can stress less. You can stress less by going to getsoul.com and using code TWND to save 30% on your order. Don't stress about the apocalypse. Just get high. We all have bad habits, and breaking them is hard. That's where Fume comes in. You've probably heard about Fume, but you might not know what it is. Fume is a flavored air device. No smoke, no batteries, just a beautiful reminder to breathe easy. So if you have a bad habit that you're trying to turn into a good one, head on over to tryfume.com/TWND to get a discount on your Journey starter pack. That's actually what Fume sent over to me to give a little taste test. And currently I am, well, not puffing on because there's no smoke, but I am breathing peach blush, which is actually, see, no smoke, a delicious flavor that I am very excited to be sipping on, as it were. I'm definitely trying to break a few bad habits of my own this year, and I think that Fume is a great place to start with that. I am an oral fixation girly. I always have to have something in my mouth. I was chewing on my fingernails for ages and other bad habits that we don't want to talk about. So if you want to join me on my journey to quit a bad habit and also help support the show that you love so very much, head on over to tryfume.com/TWND and let me know your experience, because I am excited to turn my bad habit into a good one with Fume. Tryfume.com/TWND.
I just started camming one day. And so I've already been like dancing for like I want to say 2 years at this point. And I had been out of the chair for a year at this point because the ketamine therapy was working great for my mental health. I was actually being able to like process things and realize things. And at this point in time, because this is very important, me and my friend drove me to the appointment. It was usually my ex, Heathen, that day. She had my child in the car with us. And because I started dancing when I was, it wasn't 2 years because I started dancing 2 months postpartum. So it was about a little over a year.
Okay.
And we were manifesting, because I always like would go into these appointments like manifesting something, because it would always help me with that one issue, like psychologically during the appointment. Yeah,
and whatever you want to say, like just putting like the good thoughts into your own mind, that's just retraining your own brain to be more positive.
I was manifesting leaving him. I was already at the point where I was done, and I was just working up the courage to leave him, because I had every single friend at the strip club, because they would witness him screaming at me on the phone. He knew that I would have to dance with a good mentality to be able to make money.
Yeah,
and
so
he
they
would always sabotage that.
Yes, so they want to you up ahead of time. I used to do it with camming, or like I would get like a magazine shoot like for Penthouse, right? And I'm so excited to get flown down to LA. Oh, I'm so excited for you. I'm so proud of you. And then like as soon as I am at the airport, it's all these text messages, or it's like calling and being like, oh, like your makeup look. Why would they do your makeup like that? Like making me doubt the whole process of any of these things, because that's what they do. Because they're like, well, I'm so supportive, but you didn't like bring your best game to this. So, if it goes badly, well, that's your fault. But I did encourage you and I was there for you and I'll still love you.
Yeah. Like, and that was like, that was what he would do every single night. My entire career up until this point as a dancer, he would always sabotage, so that I couldn't make money to save up to leave him. And so what ended up happening was we were doing positive. We were like, I'm going to leave him. I'm going to move to Denver. I'm going to, because at this point we were still in Colorado. I'm going to move to Denver. I'm going to start this great life for myself. I'm going to go to college. I'm going to blah. And we were manifesting all this positive stuff. This is important context for later. Okay. And so I go into the appointment. They switched, because at that point for a year I'd been getting injections, ketamine injections. They switched to IV therapy, which is more commonly used. The pre-medication, lorazepam. Orally, I had it for a year, and so that was the Ativan version I had gotten for a year. Super low dose, because I told them, hey, lorazepam will kill me. Yeah. So they're like super low dose. They're super careful about it. I wasn't ever like thinking that they were like negligent in any account. Yeah. I had it gotten it for a year orally, no problem. They switched to the liquid generic version that the hospital used. The same one that I was OD'd on.
Did you hear that?
I did hear a little something.
Continue.
Anyway, they switched to the the liquid generic.
The ghosts.
It's the voices. The liquid generic version that the hospital used, the lorazepam. I went unresponsive mid-sentence. I was talking to the nurse. It was a new nurse. We were yapping. I don't ever shut the up.
Yeah.
And
I was like,
I literally went unresponsive mid-sentence. I stopped talking and I just kind of started staring off. And I faintly remember them shining the light in my eyes, like doing all the steps, like trying to speak to me. I see their mouths moving. I can't hear nothing.
Yeah.
I can't really, like, I'm staring in one spot. I can't move. I'm not mentally there.
Yeah.
And from there, I stop breathing. And I go into respiratory arrest. And then I go into cardiac arrest. Yeah. And they're doing CPR. They bring out the AED. They get me back. I'm in the ambulance when I wake up. They give me Narcan because the people in the ambulance thought that they OD'd me on ketamine. I never got ketamine. Yeah. At this point, I only got lorazepam. But after the fact, I thought they gave me ketamine because of how up I was when I became conscious. Yeah. And so what ended up happening was my friend saw the ambulance. She said, "That better not be for Katrina." That was my dancer name at the time. That better not be for Katrina. I have a feeling that's gonna be for. Sure enough, I get wheeled out. I am the color white of the sheets. I'm a pale bitch. Yeah. But like, I was that as white as that chair.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I was
Stormtrooper helmet white.
And I was Stormtrooper helmet white. That's white. I was whiter than sour cream, but more so than I normally am, and that was crazy. And so I would like, whenever they gave me Narcan in the ambulance, which brought me to consciousness, a little bit more. That one was mine. A little bit more. And I surged forward, as people do on Narcan. Yeah. I surged forward. Confused. Like, I thought this was all one bad trip. I thought this was just a really bad trip from the ketamine. I didn't know what was going on. Yeah. I wasn't mentally there. And then I passed the out. I keep coming in and out of consciousness. I'm talking like on repeat for like maybe 2-3 hours. I would wake up. I'd ask my husband was there. And I'd ask him, I was like, "What's going on? What happened?" And then he would tell me, and then I would pass out. Yeah. And then I wake up and I'd ask him what's going on, what's happening. And this was on repeat. I was terrified. Yeah. I didn't know what was going on. I was literally just like horrified, not knowing what was going on around me. Yeah. And I would pass out. He started getting pissed that I kept asking the same questions when I would wake up. I was on my deathbed, and one time I remember, dude, I remember to the day I die. I woke, I came to, and I reached for him. Because I was scared. I didn't know what was going on. I was trying to grab his hand because I was terrified. I didn't know what was going on. Yeah. And he pulled his hand away. And he said, "I don't want to hold your hand because the thought of holding your hand makes me uncomfortable, and I don't want to be uncomfortable." And I just died. And I didn't know what was going on around me, and I was terrified. And he wouldn't even hold my hand. Yeah. And all the that I had been through over a decade at this point. And that hit me worse than anything that I had already been through. You know what I mean? Like that to this day sticks with me. And in fact, I can't handle reckless driving because of the in the car, and I can't handle physical touch with people I don't know outside of this industry. Yeah. But that stuck with me. Yeah. And throughout this entire ordeal, so 2 days later, right? Mind you, I'm still incapacitated. The world, I have vertigo so bad I can't walk. 2 days later, he gets sent out of state for training for 2 weeks. He could have gotten out of that because it's an emergency situation with the EFMP. Because I was enrolled in the EFMP, I was already disabled. Yeah. He said that he needed the break away from us. So he decided to keep going on that training. He was gone out of town for 2 weeks when I couldn't even walk. I couldn't even comprehend reality. Yeah. And he left me and our infant to die for 2 weeks. Yeah. And so because I couldn't feed myself, I couldn't, let alone take care of my infant, I crawled across the ground at one point to take care of my kid.
Oh my God.
I literally had to drag myself across the carpet. Yeah. To reach his room until my friend that brought me, and if it wasn't for her and my other friend, I don't know what would have happened to us. Yeah. One of my friends does dog stuff with me. I show dogs in American Kennel Club. She does a lot of dog stuff with me. She couldn't get a hold of me, which is weird because usually I can't get a hold of her. Yeah. And so she comes to my house. She sees my car there. She sees me not answering. And so she knew that wasn't a normal thing for me. And so she practically beat down the door. Yeah. Between her and the other friend that they, helped me out a lot. And if it wasn't for them, I mean, I couldn't even contact my family out of state. They had no idea. My husband did not contact them. He didn't tell them any of this.
Oh my God.
And when I tell you, so don't worry, it gets worse. About after he comes back, one of my friends from the strip club, and this is why I don't let like girls that from the club come into my house anymore.
Yeah.
So she tells me that she's getting abused. I found out later she was lying. I found out later she was abusing her ex. It was on video. She comes into my house. She my husband. She empathizes with me, saying like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry. This is the same my abusive ex did to me. I'm like, can't believe you're having to deal with this. I'm so sorry." She was telling the same to him the entire time, and then she him. And then when I catch them, she goes on Instagram, and this was before, and she was like a vegan influencer or whatever, I don't know, a model in the area.
She had plenty of meat.
And so she tried to also get into the porn industry after she tried to exploit my child online. We'll get there.
I hate people.
So she fucks my husband and then convinces him, because she had a criminal restraining order against her for abusing her ex. Mm-hmm. And so she told him, because in the state of Colorado, most states, you don't need evidence to get a restraining order. They'll just, especially a temporary one, they'll just issue it to you, whatever. It's based off what you put on that paper. Mm-hmm. So she convinces him to get one on me. Meanwhile, I get in contact with her. Her ex gets in contact with me because of she's blasting me online or whatnot, saying that I was abusing him, saying that my kid was so small because only me neglected him when me and my ex lived together. My son has a hole in his heart.
Yeah.
And that's why he was so small. And she was going around saying, this is why he's so small. So look, here's a picture of him. Like, look at this poor baby, whatever, that she's abusing with him and neglecting with him. Meanwhile, I ended up getting emergency custody of my kid.
Yeah.
And I have sole custody. He's about to have no rights to him.
Good.
But like, it's one of those things where I was like, dude, like, what the f-? So she goes online, she says all the she convinces him to get a restraining order on me. She gets him to kick us out of the house. So we're homeless for 2 months. And all while this entire process is going, I get a damn good lawyer. I got a damn good lawyer.
Good.
Thanks, Mom. My mom helped me get a lawyer. And so she took care of everything. She got that dropped with prejudice, meaning who can ever try to use that, the same reasons to get another one on me ever again.
Yeah.
She got me pretty much sole custody. And took care of everything up until we left the state of Colorado. Oh. And I love that lawyer to this day. She's like completely changed my life. But during this entire process, so I essentially flee to Denver with my kid after all this thing. I was like, I'm not getting caught in the same place as him, because I knew him. He was going to try to get me in trouble so that he could try to take my kid, because they send CPS to our door.
Oh my God.
That she calls CPS on me, her and him.
She's twisted fuck.
Okay, first of all, if you're going to lie to a government agent, don't try to say, oh, she did coke and heroin in front of her kid. I have 3 heart conditions.
Yeah.
I have 5 chronic pain conditions.
You're like, I can't do that.
I can't. If I can't do any type of, like, I smoke weed, that is it.
Yeah.
But, like, if I even, and that gives me palpitations.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I couldn't imagine someone like me doing coke with 3 arrhythmias.
My God.
That's literally, I feel like I would just explode.
No.
Like, shit. And so, it was one of those things where I was like, what the f-? And so, like, during this entire process, so we flee to Denver. I completely, like, start our new lives, like, completely change our lives around. And all throughout this entire process, he was trying to do fear-mongering tactics. Oh, I'm going to get your kid taken away, like this and that. I got emergency custody because he tried to guilt trip me into feeling bad to give him less in child support, because he tried to be like, I felt so guilty about what I did to you, about, like, you know, throwing y'all on the street. Well, he was trying to say that he felt so guilty about making us homeless with the whole restraining order that he tried to kill himself. And
they always say that they're going to kill themselves. Or
mentally,
they're
trying, I said, good. Yeah. I said, man, I really wish you really would have.
Man, that's the craziest fucking thing. Like, my ex said that at the end, like, oh, I'm out here now, so now I'm going to start just doing meth. I'm going to overdose on heroin and blah. I'm like, no, you're not. You love yourself too much to. I'm not that lucky. Like,
do it. Do the roar. Do the roar. Do it. It's one of those things that I was like, what the And so their entirety of the divorce was just like fear-mongering tactics after fear-mongering tactics, like all the while, like I'm trying to start our new lives or whatever. And one of the people that I met in my apartment complex was like, don't worry about it. He's himself over in court. This man in the sworn court document said that I'm defrauding the VA because I'm not disabled, but also said the same paragraph that I'm too disabled, that any amount of stress would cause me to go blind, have a heart attack, and die.
Which is it?
Same paragraph.
Which is it?
No, that's what and so she was like, she was pointing out all this it's like, he's idiot. He's an idiot.
Yeah.
She said, don't fall for this. She literally, like, I don't want to say scared straight, but I feel like it was giving the scared straight vibe.
Yeah.
She was like, this is dumb. You have no reason to be anxious over this.
You are. This man is stupid.
This is what you're fighting in court. You're gonna be fine.
Yeah.
And eventually it stuck. And it took, and after a while, I kind of like just sat with all this, like all these feelings and
Mm-hmm.
and like reflecting on everything that I went through, dude. It took dying twice for me to like learn how to live.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it really took me literally like full on like heart stop and everything dying twice for me to like start living for myself.
Yeah.
And that is something that I don't think people really realize. Like, and I did a whole like paper on near-death experiences. I've done presentations on near-death experiences. I've done all kinds of and every single time, because you don't have to actually die to have a near-death experience.
Oh yeah.
You just have to, your brain has to think you're dying.
Yeah.
And so
I've had those moments, and I think like there's a lot of people who have been in those domestic violence situations like feel that, and then you try to minimize it at the time. You have like whether you're being choked out or whether you're being like hit across the face. Like one side of my jaw is different now. I have a scar on my back from having like a whiskey glass thrown into my back. Like there are things about it that just fundamentally change, or you see moments like where things could have and maybe even should have escalated more than they did. Like, and a lot of people, if you can't understand that, that's such a good thing.
Yeah.
That you can't understand that, but then you can't or I guess you can, but you shouldn't negate other people's experiences, because if you've not been that close to being like, am I going to be here tomorrow or in the next 10 minutes? Then you can't have that level of like clarity about yourself. Like you don't know yourself as well as you think you do. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, dude. I mean, it took so much. It took me going through a lot. Like, and I mean, and I've been through some, you know what I mean? And it took all of that. Like, even when I was a kid, maybe because I was so young, I didn't have the like life flash before my eyes moment. I mean, maybe like twice whenever he was strangling the hell out of me. But it was one of those things, I was so desensitized to it that because I thought that was normal. It was normal for me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And as a child, that's a crazy concept, is strangling being normal for me.
Yeah.
And now that I look back and I like say that out loud and I'm like, oh, wow, that's kind of heavy. But like going forward in my life and just like it kind of like technically it wasn't as bad as that physicality wise, but mentality wise, I don't, maybe because I blocked out a lot of that when I was younger.
That can almost be worse in a lot of ways, because with physical, I mean, some mental, does come with it as well. But like, it's the mental torture that I think like does a lot of the heavy lifting, that even can like, when you're so twisted by the mentality of what's being like put on you or what reality is being woven around you, then even the physical stuff doesn't seem like that big of a deal, whether it's like sexual abuse or physical abuse or anything, because you're so like trapped in your own mind and this creation of reality that they've like given you, that you're like, I don't know how to get out of this anyway. So that stuff doesn't really matter. Like I'm just like a bad person, so maybe I like deserve these things that are happening, and you try to rationalize it like any way that you can, but then there always is that moment, you, I guess, dying 2 times, but to really be like, okay, like if I don't change this, then this is going to be my life forever. So do I want this forever, or do I want to like...
And that's exactly what it is. And that's exactly what happens to most people with the divorce rates, and people who have near-death experience are extremely high because they realize that this isn't the life that they want to be living. And they came close, very, very, very close to losing it. Like the second time that I died, I had had the whole life flash. The first time was peaceful, it was in my sleep. 10 out of 10, highly recommend that way to go. That is by far the way to die. The second time was when I was conscious. And I still remember bits and pieces of that, and that was horrific. The fact that I even like remember that, because it was horrifying, like looking back. The whole life flash before my eyes moment was just, I hadn't had a good life. It wasn't like everybody's like, oh, I see, like, saw memories of my dad, my family, like whatever. I saw memories of me getting my ass beat. I saw memories of me getting the life strangled out of me. I saw memories of my ex saying that I looked like a turnip when I was 9 months pregnant, and I was super insecure, and I sank to the floor crying, and he laughed at me for it. Like, I saw memories of all this horrible up ass and I just, it was enough was enough. Like, it really took me dying twice to learn how to live. And that's a crazy concept, especially because I've been walking like in the shadow of death my entire life. I don't know how I'm alive right now. I'm not complaining.
Yeah. No, I look back on situations and I wonder the same thing. Like, how am I? It's good. I remember just like, because I know I've kept you here for like ages, so we'll start wrapping up. But I was thinking about this the other day, because, you know, you don't even know what you're thinking, but like your past will like come back in, you know? And I think I was just listening to a song, and I was like, I remember listening to the song when I would drive down like Highway 1 on California. And I remember a point where I was driving the car, and my ex and his friend were like in the passenger side, right? And they're drinking, which I'm like, please don't drink. Like, I wasn't even of age at the time. So there's people like drinking open carry in the car, and I'm like, I'm so good. And
I feel that.
And then his friend pulls out a gun in the back seat. They're like, there's no one out here. Let's just fire it. They fired a gun out the window of the car. Like, I couldn't hear. Like, you know, like if you've been around shooting a gun without protection in your ears, just remember like feeling like my brain was going to like bleed out of, just like turn into goo and come out of my ears.
Especially because
like,
it was a car, and it's
a car, area, like a small car, like, and just right there, the pressure in it, and they're all like just thinking it's hilarious. And I'm like, that could ricochet off anyone, that could kill someone else. Like, but then you also have that fear of like, well, like, I'm driving, there's a gun. Like, what, do you know what I mean? And you're like trying to justify, like, why is this happening? What do I even do? So you just like go. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know. Well, you have to.
Yeah. Like, what else are you gonna
freeze
do?
Up, you know
and they're drunk with the gun. What am I gonna do? Stop the car?
Yeah.
When they tell you to keep driving? Yeah. Is that what you're gonna do?
In the middle of nowhere?
Yeah, in the middle of
when
nowhere.
They have a gun? No.
Just throw me off the coastline. Like, what?
No, literally, dude. That's how, it's just one of those things where it's like, I remember my ex like waving knives around. I remember my ex, like, I think it's like one of his buddies had a gun one time, and they were all, alcoholics too, on top of psychosis. Yep. I don't know if they pickled their brain.
It's something.
I feel like the ex-husband did, because it turns out he ended up coming to me later, much later, relatively recently, saying he was a suicidal schizophrenic. And that's why he can't have my kid anymore. But it's just one of those things where it was like, I feel like within that, because I saw the medical records, people do end up pickling their brains, and they end up with psychosis. Yeah. And I don't know, because the other one was an alcoholic as well.
Yeah,
they would drink, they would wave guns around, they'd wave knives around, they thought it was the funniest thing ever. And I'm a child, and I was just sitting there like, you know, like, my dad had a revolver, but I only ever saw it once, and it was never aimed at me. Yeah. But then and there, you know what I mean? That's a completely different story. Yeah. Waving a Glock around, Glock 19, pointing at me, I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah. And you just don't know what to do. And then you're like, well, I'm just like in this, you know?
Yeah. Like, you kind of just have to go with it, because if you don't, then you can get shot. Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, it's like, there's so much more. It's so funny, because it's like these little like layers that you peel away, right? And you're like, here's this insane thing. But then when you start to think about it, I'm like, there's just so much of my life that, like, I remember even when I went through therapy, and I was like talking to my therapist, like, oh, here's someone I can finally talk to. And the things that I would say just so casually, that she's like, what do you mean? Like, like, explain this more. And so I go into like explaining it more, and like, I'm shocking a therapist whose job it is to like processes things. It's not like she was a bad therapist. She was great. But it was like when you're surprising your therapist, like things are f***ed up.
Yeah.
But you're also trying to convince yourself that like, oh, it wasn't that f***ed up. And like, I'm actually fine. I don't
Yeah.
really need
We
this.
always
I'm
downplay
just
it.
doing this because I don't know, because I just like was bored. That's why I said I started therapy, is because I was bored.
Yeah. Dude, I feel that on a personal level. They always like, whenever I would try to talk to my therapist, I'd say all the so nonchalantly because I didn't at the time.
It's almost like you're downplaying it for them as well. You're just like, see, if I just say it in like a therapist voice and I just tell you like about the time that he found a guy off of Craigslist and had me meet him in a Motel 6 and then told the man as I was getting undressed that my fantasy was actually to be raped. So if I said stop or ow to go harder, and I just explained the situation like that about how I was raped in a Motel 6 in this sort of voice, then it doesn't sound as like, you know, I got raped in like a Motel 6. I'm not going to cry about it. It's a thing that happened. But like,
I feel that.
You also, but it's like, that's the other thing. It's like, oh, you make jokes about this. You do like whatever. Like, if you don't make jokes about it, it's like, I can laugh or I can cry. Which do you?
I'm going to pick the laugh.
Do my tears turn you on? Is that why you want me to cry about it? Because I'm going to
because
I don't like crying.
I can't do anything about it.
No.
So what's the point? And like sometimes when I talk about some of the more stuff, it hurts.
Yeah.
And it's not easy, but it needs to be said.
Yeah.
And so it's one of those things where it's like, I'm not gonna sit here and feel bad for myself. I'm not gonna sit here and like be upset about it and like not be able to move on from it because then they win.
No.
What's the point?
We're not, you can make this what you are, but you don't have to be the things that happen to you. They're just things that happen to you. You are what comes from like the ashes that you burned down. You took all of that happened to you. You burned it to the ground. You are whatever comes next. Or you do let yourself be all the things that have happened to you, and they continue to weigh you down, and they continue to like drag you under and just kill you so slowly.
And you're drowning, and the people around you more times than not don't even notice.
They have
it's
no
one
idea.
of those things where, like, for example, all this shit happened to me, well, besides the younger whenever I was in a completely different state. My family don't know the half of it. And it's one of those things where I could never really talk to them about it because they'll never understand. When I came back, no one recognized me. My neck, when I left, I barely had tattoos. But like on a less physical note, nobody in my family, I've actually been disowned by one of my sisters because of like my own personal views on like different politics and stuff. But like no one actually recognizes me. And I had to sit there because my mom brought it up. I said, your daughter died in 2019. Your daughter died again. What was left of her died again in 2023. I am what remains. I am what came after.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things that I don't think people really realize. It does change us fundamentally. And also the mentality that we have is just completely like gone from it.
Yeah.
There's some
and
people,
also like all those pieces that die, it's like they just also become like a different piece of you. So it's not like you can discard them.
Yeah.
It's like you're just carrying around all these ghosts that are just always going to haunt you a little bit, and you have to learn to kind of like just exist with them. And you're like, these are my ghosts, these are my demons, and I'm stuck with them. Like, but you are a different person because of that, because you're also not the person that let those things happen and become ghosts. Those are like just the little specters of you, kind of like following you around forever.
Yeah. I'm not the little girl that got held down in the trunk of a car.
No,
I'm not the woman that got left for dead with her kid. I'm not them anymore. I don't take from people.
Yeah.
I don't let people hurt me anymore.
It's I always kind of thought of it as like they are you, but you are not them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and that's what a lot of people, and if all that we're talking about is like uncomfortable for you or whatever, like good, it should be uncomfortable because abuse is uncomfortable. And if you like can't understand or like relate to this, consider yourself like a very, very blessed person, like that you do not have anything like this to go through, because I wouldn't want other people to have to be able to relate to this. If people can relate to it and it like helps them in some way, that's awesome. But I would never wish like things that you and I or other people that I've talked to, I would never wish those experiences on other people, because we know how it is.
We know how it is. We survived it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't wish this on my worst enemy.
Yeah.
Like the nightmares and that keep me up every night.
Yeah.
I wouldn't wish that on people. And it's one of those things that, yeah, I moved past it, but it's always going to stick with me a little bit.
Yeah.
Different aspects of it. It's always going to be there. And that's why I'm so like passionate about sharing it, because one, it feels like, okay, like I'm like a little bit of a weight off my shoulders. But two, if my story and the that I've been through helps one person.
Yeah. Then
And it doesn't have to be like somebody that's going through it that decides to leave, preferably.
Yeah.
But like,
It could even be just helping someone else understand something that they didn't understand before.
or change their life around.
Yeah.
You know, just to live life for themselves. If it helps one person, then
It's
it
enough.
makes everything that I've been through worth, at least have some kind of purpose.
Yeah.
Versus just hurt. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So that you're not like just the pain. It's like it's taking that pain and transmuting it into something that is like not, I wouldn't say pleasure, but something that can be helpful or beneficial instead of only hurting. Like, and that's a beautiful thing. Like, and if people can't understand that, then okay, cool, like whatever, but it doesn't have to make sense to them. It just has to make sense to you. And if you find it fulfilling, then by all means continue on, you know? Yeah.
Absolutely.
This was really fun.
Yeah, I know, right?
This is great. We go even way longer than I normally go, so we're just like yapping. I love it. Yapping about domestic violence, the Totally Wholesome Not Dirty podcast.
Hell yeah, very wholesome.
Very wholesome. It is actually. I think it is wholesome to get these things out and talk about it. But you want to let everybody know where they can follow you on your adventures?
Absolutely. So my handle on all social media is the same. TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter, I'm not calling it X, is Lorelai Do or Die. That's Lorelai Do or Die.
And it'll also be linked in the description, so make sure you give Lorelai a follow. Thank you so much for joining. This was awesome.
Yeah.
You can follow the podcast on Instagram and X at TWND Podcast. You can leave a voicemail at 702-900-6446 or leave me emails at twndpodcast@gmail.com. Please subscribe, rate, leave a comment, share with a friend, helps the algorithm, all that good stuff. And I will see you next time. Do you know what CUNT spells?
Cunt.
I get paid to take my clothes off, but here I bear it all for free. Welcome to the Totally Wholesome Not Dirty podcast, where sex work meets self-work and we laugh through the chaos. One inappropriate joke at a time. I talk safe sex, mental health, industry secrets, and all the stories that made my therapist cry. Got a confession, a question, a wild tale, send me an email, some love and a salutation, 'cause nothing turns me on like a little validation. Hey baby, maybe got my head in the clouds, but I'm still me, feeling free, honestly. Take me away to a higher vibe. Take me away, let me come alive. Take me away with you. It's an honor just to be here, just to share a little love. I'll keep laughing through the chaos, 'cause we'll never get enough. Even when the hard times and confusion appear, turn me on through the chaos. Let me whisper in your ear. Turn me on. Take a moment, brush it off, let it go. Hey!